final inductee tonight is a person, when you think about Salle athletics, there's certain names that kind of come to mind. You say Aaron, you know immediately Aaron Taylor. You say Amani, you know it's Amani too. And when you say Joe in the basketball world, so maybe I'm skewed a little bit because I grew up watching, it's Joe McLean. And I was fortunate enough to live on a court in Clayton where Joe would frequently go visit one of his best friends. Every time I saw Joe drive down the street, I'd go get my basketball and would start dribbling out the front door. Because he was a rock star. He would take it to the court every single time. I do my homework in my room from St. Francis. I'd listen to the games on the radio. And when I could get out on Friday nights, I'd be there at every single game. And it wasn't just because of Joe, but a lot of his teammates who are here as well. But Joe kind of set the standard for what it was like to be a basketball god, for a lack of a better term, for a kid growing up. And there were the Berry boys, and the Berry boys were outstanding. But for me, I identified with the thunderous dunks, the great work ethic on a consistent basis. And when I was in my backyard at Clayton, I always thought I wanted to be Joe McLean when I became a Spartan. Joe McLean, though, is and always will be in a class of his own when it comes to the basketball realm, for more on his great career and all that he's accomplished.
It's my distinct privilege and honor to be part of Joe McLean's induction to the Del Salle Athletic Hall of Fame. I can't think of a more deserving individual. I've been part of a number of these already, and as a Spartan class of 77, it really is an honor to take part in this. Joe played varsity basketball for 3 years at Del Salle. During that time, he was just a great Spartan. He was there for his team. He was a leader. He was a great friend. Someone that really others coalesced around. He wasn't afraid of big challenges. One of his great nemesis during that time was Jason Kidd, who we just couldn't overcome. We came close numerous times. We were never able to beat Jason Kidd's teams, but other than that, Joe overcame almost every challenge we faced while we were together at Del Salle. He's a warrior. The flip side of that, he has just a real great sense of humor, very dry, but a great sense of humor. He may or may not have been part of an elite and secret society which used to support Coach Lattiser on game day in the coach's office. I know Tam used to come by at the end and view the carnage, or maybe he didn't view the carnage. That I'll take to my grave.
It's like Charlie there.
Joe also had an interesting habit of watching the film Hoosiers on game day. I don't know how many times you can watch Shooter break down in the gym, and then of course maybe he had some Jimmy Chitwood fantasies. I'm not certain about that. There's another fun story about Joe. I think after his freshman year, he was playing Steve Coach Emilio one-on-one, and Coach gave no quarter to anybody. He used to try to break everyone's spirit. Joe was almost in tears after losing to Coach Emilio, and I told Steve that he couldn't play one-on-one with Joe anymore because we needed Joe in the future. Joe went from Del Salle after we really had a good run, and he was a leader, certainly one of the best players in California at the time. He was a national level recruited all over the country. He chose Arizona, played for Lute Olson there, had a lot of success at Arizona. I think 1 year he led the Pac-10 in three-point shooting. Went from there to professional ranks, really made a name for himself as a professional basketball player. And he's taken many of the values that he learned along the course of athletics and applied it to his life. He's really thriving, and I'm really proud of Joe and consider him truly one of the best individuals that I've ever worked with in my career, and really pleased again and honored to be part of this induction ceremony. And I hope this day goes great for Joe.
Joe McLean.
This is really cool. I must admit, to be up in front of everybody and get to see a lot of my brothers from the Brotherhood and family. I do feel guilty. I remember when Leo called me, I was actually in the airport, and he said, "You're in the Hall of Fame, we're going to do this induction." And everyone's played sports. You know when you give those like fist pumps for the team, like a celebratory fist pump? There's those kind of fist bumps, and then there's that really selfish one where you kind of like down low a little bit. It's awesome. And I felt guilty because I felt really good about myself. But I left it in the airport, so it's really an honor, and I want to congratulate all the inductees that are here today. I got to watch the run that these guys made in 1990. I was younger than them. How awesome is that? Those pictures of you guys in the Speedos. I'm going to do a team photo afterwards. It's good to see all you guys finally kind of reach puberty. That was really cool. But you know, the irony of these awards that we give here at De La Salle is it's the Athletic Hall of Fame, and the irony is if you went here, you know the school has nothing to do with sports. It's not how we're defined. And I want to tell you that I really dedicate this award to someone that knew that a long time ago for me, and that was my mom. And we moved here when I was 10 years old from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I thought it was the worst thing, the worst move that I could ever have. I left all my friends, and all she worried about was finding a home, near De La Salle. My brothers went to Central Catholic in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they had an incredible experience. And she wanted to have a house somewhere near this high school because she knew someday I was going to go there. And it's not cheap to go here. My dad had a good job. She went back to work, but she still wanted to be there to cook breakfast every morning, and she'd go to Safeway and work there at 2:30 in the morning as a baker and come back home smelling like cake and French bread and be there for breakfast. But she knew all these things that would be taught here at De La Salle. And frankly, she taught most of them to me before that. But there was a couple things that she couldn't teach. And that's what I wanted to quickly share a little bit about that. And it's great to see Sean. I do remember when he was 10, 11 years old, he would look over the fence or out the window. And I must admit, when I was watching a basketball game, I wasn't watching, I was just listening to it, and I said, this one guy, I don't recognize the voice. It's sultry, it's smooth, it sounds good. And then he went to the video, and it's like, that's Sean? And the trajectory of his career is unlimited. He's just beginning his career. It's great to see him grow. And I think when you think about being a Spartan, it's really not about these individual awards, but you get to celebrate everything about the school and celebrate the new coaches and new teachers that come on board to take us to the next place. And the first gift that I got was really, when you go to De La Salle, you're given the gift of leadership. There's no expectation to follow. The absolute expectation is to lead. And lead with all diligence. And that's something that you look out in the room, and there's Hall of Fame dads, and Hall of Fame teachers, and Hall of Fame pastors, and lawyers. And you can see the pride when Jared was talking about his employees that he works with, how he helps them grow. And that all started here. And then the second gift was really the gift of overachieving, the will to win. At De La Salle, you're not afraid to say it's not okay to lose. You're here to play the game to win. And speaking of overachievement, I wanted to recognize my wife, who's here, Mary. If you look at her, you can see I'd certainly overachieved. And if I could accomplish anything today, she never got to see me play. I was hoping there'd be some videos in here, because she won't let me have a VCR in the house to show some of the old tapes, and she won't watch them. And when I take her to the alumni games at Arizona, the other 9 guys are still in the NBA. It's really difficult to stick out there. So afterwards, if everyone could kind of talk about how good I was to her, and she'll believe me. And I do want to thank Coach Nessman. He was a teacher in my life and a leader in my life, and he continues to lead by example by being the head coach at San Jose State, and all of our coaches and teachers continue to go on to greater success. It was nice of them to bring the Jason Kidd thing up, of never beating him. We actually played golf 2 weeks ago. I beat him by 6 shots. So I got him back for losing all the time. Coach Alaco. Coach Alaco was in our life from probably the earliest ages, prior to De La Salle, running the camps that he had when we were there. Was at Mount Diablo. And it was sort of foreshadowing for this school because he was teaching all of these principles of leadership and overachieving and this will to win early on. And now he's here championing De La Salle and taking us yet to another level. So I know he left his vacation early to be here and missed a couple flights that were canceled and still made it. So I really appreciate it. And lastly, the one quality my mom couldn't give me, because she did instill this leadership principle and the will to win, was this idea of running the race to win. It's not so we get this prize of a trophy or the banners. It's because you realize that the greatest prize is brotherhood. And Proverbs 17:17 said, "A friend loves at all times, but a brother is born for adversity." And we all go through different types of adversities. All my memories are not on a basketball court or fields. It's with these guys that are in the room. We just had a barbecue today at Matt Clay's house, and we immediately click back. And I know these guys at this table, it's instant. We come back to the brotherhood. And I will say, we all go through adversities, and you could look inward for the leadership, you could look inward for that will to win, but we all look outward for our brothers because we could lean on them for our adversities. And that's what De La Salle's all about. And I go back to my mom because she knew that. And when I was 10 years old, I didn't see that vision, and she understood it. And now I am fortunate to be a husband and a dad of 2. And if I have to go back to Safeway to be there at 2:30 in the morning to do the things for my son and my daughter and hopefully future kids, I'll do it because I know it was worth it. So again, I congratulate everybody that's here. Thanks, Sean, for running the show. And I encourage everyone to keep coming back because that's what this is about.